joining us for today's session about Scouts Go Solar and the green skills in scouting. I hope you're good, that there is some sunshine outside. Here in Switzerland, it's not that nice, but I hope that in other countries you're more lucky than we are here. Well, as I mentioned, today we are going to talk about Scouts Go Solar and green skills. What are green skills? Why they are important? Which green skills you can obtain by joining the Scouts Go Solar challenge, and how all of this works together. My name is Martin Wanner. I'm a Scout from Switzerland, and at the same time, project coordinator of the Scouts Go Solar project at South Africa. And I will be moderating this live session today. Please welcome also our experts, Carol Phillips and Alex Balboa.
Hey, how are you?
Great. So just one small information before we start. If you have any questions during the session, please feel free to write them in the chat, and in the end, we will have some time to answer them. Okay, so let's see what we have prepared for you. So first of all, what is Scouts Go Solar? Maybe you have already heard about this challenge, which is part of the Earth Tribe. Maybe the name already says something, that it's about scouting and solar energy. Actually, it's a project of environmental education, where you will learn a lot of different things about renewable energies in general. So like water energy, wind energy, solar energy, heat pumps, and so on, but in particular, solar energy. The project itself, it's a collaboration between the World Organization of the Scout Movement and South Africa, which is a rather small NGO from Switzerland, which is specialized in different topics about solar energy, and which has been working in this project for many, many years already. As I mentioned before, Scouts Go Solar is one of the Earth Tribe challenges, which we will see right afterwards, how this all works. Maybe you've already heard about Earth Tribe, Champions for Nature, Plastic Tide Turners, and Scouts Go Solar. It's, as it is a collaboration with WASM, it's active on a global level, so you can access this challenge, these activities from all over the world, no matter where you're living, where you're based. But of course, as it is global, the descriptions, the activities are written for all the world. It's also necessary to break it down, to adapt it to your national context. Maybe the climate is different in your country, and therefore one activity doesn't make much sense like it is. So you might want to switch to another energy. Maybe there is not that much sunlight in your country, so you prefer wind or water energy, for example. So there are a lot of factors that can make it useful to adapt the materials, the activities, and so on. But on the international level, there are some kind of guidelines, some manuals, some instructions that you can use as a base and then adapt it to your context. We will hear afterwards also how things work in Singapore, how things work in Chile, which are also two completely different contexts. And we will see that it works. It needs to be slightly adapted, but it's perfectly possible to work on this. And very important, it's not kind of school learning approach, but it's much more based on hands-on experiences. About this, we will talk later on. So, as you may already know, the Earth Tribe challenges, there we have the better choices, which are working on the SDGs 11, 12, and 13. We have nature and biodiversity, SDGs 2, 13, 14, and 15, which lead you to the badge of the Champions for Nature, the Panda badge. Then we have SDGs 7 and 13, affordable and clean energy and climate action, which leads you to the badge of Scouts Go Solar. And we have SDGs 6, 13, and 14 about a healthy planet, which is the challenge called Plastic Tide Turners. How does it work? First of all, if you would like to take such a Earth Tribe challenge, you can do a self-assessment on the website, which I will share with you in the end. There, it's kind of a self-test where you see, I'm very interested in biodiversity, let's say, in animals, in plants. So they will tell you, well, probably for you, the most interesting would be Champions for Nature. Or you say, yeah, I'm very into physics. I want to experiment. I want to try out stuff. They might tell you, well, Scouts Go Solar could be a good option for you. Once you have decided which challenge you would like to take, then there's the next step, the planning. So as a scout, talk to your scout leader, to your group leader, and you define what you're going to do, which activities, what time frame, and how it's going to work. Afterwards, of course, the interesting part is implementing it, doing the activities, the actions, see how the things work, learn by the implementation of it. And once you have all the activities, all the actions that you need, there will be the celebration and the recognition. You can get the Earth Tribe pin, you can get the badges, with which you become automatically a recognized member of the global Earth Tribe. And when you have completed one, as you see, there are many others, and there are also more to come. So the journey continues. You can start the whole process again with one of the other challenges. A lot of interesting stuff to learn, a lot of different topics to have a look at. So, but how does it work? What's the method behind it? As I said, it's not kind of classical school teaching that somebody's standing in front and explaining you, it's like this, it's like this, it's like this, and you learn it by heart. That's not the idea of Scouts Go Solar. So what is it then? For example, you can try out some simple experiments. As you see here on the left, with a magnifying glass, a piece of wood, you can create your very personal piece of art. You can build your own experiments, ones that need a little bit more time to build up, but then you can use and use and use them again. As, for example, the solar beep you see on the right. You can prepare food in a solar cooker. Here on the left, you see a professional one. There are also other models that are quite easy to build, from cardboard, aluminum foil, and some plywood, for example. And with this, you can build your own solar cooker, try it out on a sunny day, and maybe prepare your lunch or prepare something to eat for your scout group. There are many things to play along with the solar tools. There are small solar crickets, for example, or other thermometers where you can play dart or flipper with laser, and a lot of stuff. And as you see on the picture on the right, from Cub Scouts up to adults, it's open for everyone. There are experiments, there are activities that are interesting for small kids, but also up to adults. Of course, one part is also discussing with others, for example, the energy consumption of the household devices. How much energy does my cell phone need to charge? How much energy does it need to heat my house, for example? Or a light bulb, how much energy does it need? What different kind of light bulbs there are? How much energy can I save if I switch from one kind to the other, for example? Then part of the challenge is also always implementing a solar project. Here you see a big one, which is installing solar panels on a remote school in Zimbabwe. But it's also perfectly okay if your solar project consists in doing a workshop, for example, for a scout group at school. If you share your knowledge with others, if you tell them, well, it's important to use renewable energies because, and a lot of possibilities. It's also testing your knowledge. As you might know, on the JOTA-JOTI platform, there is also a game pretty similar to the one you see on the left. It's about building knowledge and also sharing it with others and seeing, well, what do you already know and which parts would you like to know more? There are many experiments where you can get to know surprising effects. As you see on the right, we have the light, which is the direct light is blocked by this black cup. But anyway, with all these mirrors, you're able to put a lot of light on this on the liquid, on the white liquid you see behind. So many physical experiments, but in a way that are pretty easy to understand with easygoing material that you can get in the different contexts, in the different countries, in kind of normal shops, and it's not highly technical or kind of you need to be an engineer to do this. Not at all. But most of all, it's about learning while you're having fun. It's about trying out, it's about experimenting, it's about playing. And at the same time, you'll see, that's how it works. If I do this, if I put my solar cooker into the sun, I direct it put it in the right direction, I can cook. So it's learning while you make your own experiences. It's not that somebody tells you that's how it works and that's how you need to do it. They might give you some instructions and then you can try out on your own, by yourself. And also very important, as many people say, well, I'm not that much into learning. I don't like if I have to learn something. You won't even notice that you're learning when you do this kind of experiments. So now that was general information about the project, about the Scouts Go Solar Challenge, but now we will come to the part to the link to the green skills, which will be the main topic of today's session. So let's ask our experts. Carol.
Okay, hi, thank you for the introduction, Martin, and that scares the life out of me, calling me an expert. Hey, so I'm Carol, Solar Ambassador from Singapore, and my Scoutcraft name is Fervent Manatee. If we can put the, yep. So personally, I've not been in scouting that long, only 14 years. I came in as an adult leader and started with Cub Scouts, then moved on into ventures, and finally now serving as a group scout leader. In terms of my background, well, yes, definitely not at all in engineering, totally far away from anything scientific to some people. I'm a trained psychologist and I started work in social service, in fact. It's where I was reaching out to younger children and engaging in behavior modification for children who were low achievers in school. And I found that all this practicing, learning by doing, it became very real when I was in my professional career, which is why I probably jumped into scouting after a while. It's more because, well, outdoor education, I love nature, love being out there, and then kids who do not do well in school don't like sitting down listening to teachers. So as a result, challenge them with different ways, hands-on learning, doing things in different environments. And that's why, yes, behavior modification, education in the outdoor environment. How I got myself connected to Scouts Go Solar would be probably from my nature environment, starting with my environmental workshops. So that's the so-called professional background. And I was always looking in terms of how to make things better for the world. The old panda badge is the one that really got me into this because, I mean, who doesn't like that beautiful, cute WWS panda badge, right? And from there, when I was in Adelaide, I started learning a little bit more, especially about recycling, upcycling, how they're very good with saving the world there. And in 2015, when it came to the Singapore Jamboree Roadshow, I met a very big force in Scouts Go Solar for me, that would be Sir Burns from the Philippines. And he got me interested, got me to assist him in the road shows, after which every other environment workshop I went to, he pulled me in to help run the road shows. So things like the solar art that you mentioned earlier on, something I learned at a road show. I slowly developed all my points to it and finally made the time to go to Candice to get myself officially trained to be an ambassador for Scouts Go Solar. And that little sunburst photographs down there, we have Mitch, the solar guru, who also built a lot for me along the trip, and my cohort that I worked side by side. I think we had about 10 to 12 days, which is a really good, intense workshop where, our training and development as Scouts Go Solar ambassadors, we had interactive discussions. If we go to the next slide, please. And doing things, learning about safety, learning about how to make stuff. I mean, this was a really, really steep curve for me. I deal with people. I don't deal with things. I am definitely all thumbs, no fingers, all thumbs. And so making the sunglasses was a big challenge for me. And when it comes to soldering, the biggest challenge is don't get burned. And it's a very little thing. When we do anything Scouts Go Solar, not getting burned, not just by the projects we do, but the fact is we're in the sun. And when you're in the sun, how to take care of yourself safely, something very important for our youth that we work with. And I suppose for all of us, our individual action plans and how we conduct it would be one of the biggest challenges, but the team is all very supportive. So that's the journey that I took to get here. In terms of special moments that we had, my first journey with the roadshow with Sir Burns, where he showed us how we can do certain things. I thought, let's stop me here first. Alex, why don't you introduce yourself before I go into the experiments that we've actually conducted? Too much of my voice. Your turn, Alex. Oh, you mean you gotta go through all that way? Yeah.
Alex, over to you. Can you please present yourself and tell our audience what you do in scouting and in everyday life?
No. Hello, my name is Alex. I am from place in the center of Chile in South America. I have been a scout for about 25 years. I started in the movement when I was just 5 years old, and now I work to help to other scout with Scout Go Solar in Chile. I am electrical engineer, and I am working on different projects with electric energy, specifically in solar energy projects in different places in my country. I am 14 years old and I have experience in different electrical projects. And now in the movement, I am a volunteer manager in the Scout Go Chile program. So in this magic, you can see when I was visited my training program in Bolivia, and on the left is a picture about how I can explain about my project with solar in Chile for the Scout. Next, Martin.
Yes. So what's your connection to Scouts Go Solar, Alex?
Yeah, in the last year, I am a volunteer to help my friend Simon, and who told me about the Scout Go Solar project, and I invited me about to participate in a new process to become a Scout Go Solar for the country in Bolivia. I finished my personal project doing workshop with different volunteers around the country with my friends we looked for different girls and boys Scout geese who are interested in the program. Together with them, we created a new solar project. For example, we created a new pilot experiment for Go Solar. We were using the solar energy into a pump electric, and with them we are sending into a piping water for a hydroponic system to grow vegetables through the solar cycle in the day. So in this picture, you can see a scout girls using the solar panel for use the energy to generate electric for a pump. Just as a pilot, we are defined to the final product, but um, this is the most important in this project is that you can use the solar to generate electric to create food, for example.
Nice. Thank you very much, Alex, also for this very interesting experiment. Actually, this was not something that we had on the list in the materials, in the activities we spread, but this is something that they came up with. They saw the experiment, the basic experiment, and thought, oh, well, there are more things possible. Let's try out this. And they came up with this solution, which is using solar energy to improving the food production. Thank you very much for this. I think also, Carol, you wanted to mention an experiment, correct?
Yeah. Partly an experiment, partly a, shall we say, modification to certain things. So if we can flip me back to the color test. During our road shows, Sir Burns showed us things about the color test. And well, I started off with just doing it his way. So we can find the slide there, where I have color test 1, I believe, on a slide. Yeah, that one there. So the picture on top down there shows the stuff that Sir Burns used, really nice looking tin containers with thermometers put in, and we left it out in the sun for about 10 minutes and we took temperature readings. So temperature readings before, temperature readings after. And for me, it's, well, nice materials, but that's going to be very expensive, which made me think maybe it's not practical for a scout group. We need to have a big pool of material to be able to do these things. But when I came back to Singapore, what we did was we used soda bottles. We were lucky enough to have soda bottles that were already colored. And, well, do you think we'll get the same reactions? Will we see different colors would give us different temperature readings, which was the aim of the color test, to show a simple way to show children whether, well, what color you wear could affect how you feel in terms of heat. Then when we were in Kandersteg, we took it one step further. What we did was, let's not just use temperature readings, but something visual for the children to see. So we started off with, we painted our plastic soda bottles, and then we let the air inside heat up. And as you can see, well, we've used, I've got down there 3. Actually, we had 4 bottles. The white one was a different bottle. We couldn't find the same shape and size. And as they timed it, they watched, and to see where the bottles inflated, which balloon inflated faster. Visual things always get children moving. And they could then see the impact of, this is what the sun does. It heats us up. It gets us to this kind of situation, making them think further of how could this affect us with life now, especially with the way the world's changing now. So that's what we did. And from a further step, in terms of from an educational background, it's not just about doing the experiments as a Scouts Go Solar ambassador, but encouraging the children to think further. So there was one that Mitch started me on, and I really moved it quite far in the sense of testing it in different environments. What we have here are simple beads. I don't know if you can see what I'm showing you here, but they're just simple little beads that react to ultraviolet. And when you put it in the sun, when you don't put it in the sun, what happens? The different things that happen. In Switzerland, this is what I did. I had, I think, 8 different readings. And here we have 11 o'clock on a cloudy day. You can see the bracelet shows a change in color. The beads in the packets down there, minor little change, is a cloudy day. Whereas on a sunny day, you can see the beads change color really greatly. I apologize. My sunscreen arrow is pointing at the wrong bag. The bag on the right of those 3 bags, there is the sunscreen actually. And this was a suggestion by one of my groups. We were saying, okay, we are talking here about UV changes the color of these beads. Is there a difference to what we wear? In the shops these days, they sell UV protection. So in Singapore, we go what's called scuba diving and snorkeling quite often, and they sell UV protection clothing. Does the UV protection really work? All this as an educational thought process to people. We added like sunscreen, we had UV protection, an umbrella down there. Do the beads change color under such conditions? Is the UV getting to us? Because, well, it's been said UV and health, cancer, skin cancer would be a problem to watch out for. And that's why we played with a lot of different conditions. Being a psychologist, the only scientific training I have is doing research and making sure things are not just touch and go, trial and error. I was working things through where possible, step-by-step scientific. The next slide is something that we just did today. I finally got my son, and the video should play what we have here. Hopefully you can see this was on the left, 9 a.m., 11 a.m., and 12 noon before the rain came in. And without full sunlight, this is totally in the shade. Okay, you saw no change color. In the open air, you will see that the beads, these are the same beads, it's the same 4 packets. You can see how they change really fast. And on the extreme right, 12 noon, the purple went really strong. This one was under a protective solar film. So these are building materials. The roofing on top was protective solar film. If you could pause the video just there, you'll notice that there does not seem to be much color change. Doing this kind of study in front of children, getting them to see the results and getting them to think about it. This is about green skills. If the children, though not just children, not talking about young ones only, but even our 12, 13, 14-year-olds, 17-year-olds start thinking about this. Scouting is about education. Scouting is non-formal education. This will perhaps get them to think how to reduce the impact in later life for everyone in the world. Okay, so yeah, that's the experiment that I've been playing around with. Simple things that we buy online, testing under UV what happens, and getting the children to reflect, getting the youth to reflect, can I make a difference to this? Okay, so that's my experiment. Small, but yes.
Thank you very much, Carol. And also very interesting explanation from the educational perspective. Now I would like to hear from Alex. You are an engineer, you're more from the technical side. So where do you see green skills within Scouts Go Solar, from a more, let's say, more technical perspective? What can you tell us?
Yeah, I think when you ask a boy or a girl about green capacity, probably they know a lot of concept about this topical. I think that understanding that we're able to create to our own electrical energy for daily activities, and understanding the importance of this, it is the future for our civilization. Nowadays, it is important to know if the electric energy I am consuming come from a coal, oil, or gas or source, for example. because in that case, I am generating a great environmental impact. That it is why it is important that the new generation which approach the movement understand this importance and are aware of the world that we are trying to preserve and care. So
Thank you for these explanations. And now you both actually we speak about green skills and what green skills you can get by implementing the Scouts Go Solar challenge. But actually in everyday life, what is it good for? Why do we need to know about green skills? Why does it help in everyday life? If we know about how to make things in a more sustainable way, in a more environmental friendly way, why do we need it?
yeah, for example, when I will need to travel to another city, you need to use energy. Okay, and this is the energy generates a great ambiental impact for your travel. That is the problem. Okay, but if you will prefer to a green energy to travel to another city, you are a good and conscious person because you will to help to reduce the CO2 emissions. Okay, as well as when I will need to charge my cell phone, for example. Okay, call my friend to a video call, play computer or consoles, for example, PlayStation. I don't know. Need to cook my lunch or a breakfast, or listen to music in a recital, etc. Other people can help us to reduce the environment impact and save the world, I think.
Nice.
True,
Thank you
true.
very much.
I'd say
Carol?
I'd say
Yeah.
the green skills would be more. I mean, definitely it's about making things better, saving the world where we can, reducing the impact that we've already put in. If you think about it, technology has increased to a certain point, and well, as I jokingly always say, the dinosaur here needs to learn new things. And it's the age for adaptability. So to survive in a changing world, we have to keep up with it. And knowing that we are draining, there's not enough fossil fuel left, that everything is starting to be depleted by our usage, we have to do something about putting it back. And I mean, I'm fairly lucky. I was just saying that this month, October, is probably one of our heaviest rainfall months in the year. But while I say that, I get a lot of sun in Singapore, and we can do a fair amount here. Just we don't have space. To get solar farms, a bit tricky, but we are doing it. We're doing what we can in our I mean on our offshore islands, we're putting in solar farms. And hopefully, well, in terms of scouting and learning green skills, we need to think differently. My children and my children's children will probably not think of the lawyer or the businessman as the main occupation anymore, but someone who's going to be doing something towards conserving the environment, doing things to create new jobs that make us more resilient to the ever-changing needs of the world. So that's what I'd say it would be. It's more to do with mindset of the people and changing it through education.
Thank you very much for this insight. So we've talked about green skills, we've talked about Scouts Go Solar, but now let's say if I'm a scout and I'm really interesting, I've listened to this session and I really want to be part of it. I want to know where the experiments are. I want to know how I can be part of this. What can I do?
So, for example, in Chile, first you need to join us, Solar Scout. and we need to carry out a new activity with your community. For example, you can think as a different projects or a project in a book when you can practice with your home scouting at school or university or school in your work, whatever is possible. In the second step, you can read about the Scout Go Solar Handbook and chose a different activity to join us with. For example, a typical practice is very famous is solar cooking, solar sunglasses is very perfect, or any other activity with which you can create a relationship with the sun. Third, don't forget to take photos or videos and send to Scout Go Solar with a link to be included in all the newsletters and other communications channels about the program. Finally, you are welcome and you are new Scout Go Solar Scout. This is my thing, Martin.
Great.
Sorry.
Thank you very much. Carol, how does it
Yeah.
work?
All the links are there. It's take part in activities. My NSO has some stuff, but more likely it's reach out to the main official links. We're still building up our Scouts Go Solar community here, but definitely speak with your group leaders. They will be able to get you to the right people to give you assistance with developing your skills. Okay, so yep, all those links there are great to use. Keep up with the information, read the newsletter, and yes.
Great. So here I share with you some of the links. Scouts for SDG Hub, where you find a lot of information also about the other challenges, about the different projects and challenges that there are at WASM, where you can also do it online. You can have access to the activities, you can download them, you can send photos, implement your project, send a small report, and then you can get these badges in online version, in a digital version. There are manuals and more experiments in different languages. With the second link, there is the Scouts Go Solar newsletter, which informs twice a year, normally in about September, October, and about February, about the activities that have been going on, the solar activities that have been going on all year long in the different countries of the world. There we have activities from Africa, from Asia, from Europe, from from South and North America, actually from Australia sometimes. A lot of things are going on worldwide. And this can be really interesting also to get inspired, to have new ideas. They do it like this in that country. Maybe I can do something like this. Or, in my country, there's something going on. Maybe I can get in touch with this person and see if we can work together, if we can do something. And as Carol mentioned, several national scout organizations, they also have their own materials. Maybe they have a translated version of the solar handbook, of the solar workbook, of the different manuals. Maybe they have it adapted to their system, to their batch system, or to the age groups, or whatever. So it can also be a good idea to ask your scout leader, ask your national scout organization, and see if there is already something around, if they would be interested to introduce it. And if not, just talk to your scout leader and they can have access to these materials and start implementing these kind of activities. Great, thanks a lot for these very interesting insights, Carol and Alex. Now we would have a few minutes left to answer questions that we have in the chat. Let's see what we have there. JOTA-JOTI scarf. I'm afraid we don't know the answer to this one. Maybe we can pass it on to the organizers. On the most simple level, how can we encourage the society to go eco-friendly solar? What would you say, Carol?
Eco-friendly solar, encourage community. Personally, I'd say it's through us showing the love for the nation, for the world first. You would need to show the benefits of solar. However, do remember, always stay safe when you're doing it. Because while I talk so much about the benefits of solar energy and showing people that, okay, we can do things like this, we can protect ourselves. But if you don't protect yourself and you get hurt by solar power, there'll be a problem there. Showing them that solar energy can help you, mentioned just now by Alex, charge your handphone with solar power. It works very well. If you have a nice portable power charger with solar panels, and when people realize that the sun is there to help us, give proper respect, take proper care, I think it comes naturally. I've seen many people here look around for alternatives because, hey, not a nice way to put it, but hey, if you can get portable chargers, it's free energy because the sun gives it to you, as opposed to buying it from a source somewhere. It's not a great concept to really brag about, but anything that's free must have something useful to it and must be effective to help us through things. Okay, so getting people to be more solar friendly comes from taking care of yourself and realizing that sun is there to help us power through life, and she's there for us free.
Alex, would you like to add something to how we can encourage the society to go eco-friendly and solar?
About the projects eco-friendly, you told me?
If you would like to add something, another argument.
Yes. I think about the solar projects, or for example, in Chile, for about last years ago, we using fossil to generate electric. This is a great impact in South America. It's similar to General Electric, is very similar to other example. For example, Argentina, Peru, Venezuela, Ecuador, using a fossil energy to generate electric. So for about 10 years ago, Chile was decided about the using to renewable energy. We using principal in the day, we using to solar plants, aeolic energy, probably thermodynamic energy. So for a travels, for about 5 years ago in Chile, we are using to electric energy. So we will arrive it to a new buses electric, because in Chile using a fossil to all the energy. So this is the example when the country contribute to save the world, but is it a great solution? But when you compare it with other country in this region, it's very different, because we need to decide to politics laws, laws.
Lots.
Yeah, it's very difficult to we all the country join about this problem, but about the scout we can joins about a new solutions and contribute to save the world. Okay.
Thank you very much. One more question that I can answer. Actually, will using clean energy not bring down industries such as nuclear power plants? I think, Carol, you mentioned it, that also in the renewable energy sector, there will be a lot of jobs created. There will be new opportunities also for highly trained highly trained people. And I mean, the changing will not be from one day to another. So it takes some time. People can also change from one specialization to another one. So I think it is a topic to talk about job creation, but I think the energy sector will still remain quite big, and there will be a lot of job opportunities. Unfortunately, time is already advancing very fast, so we'll skip the wrap up and go directly to sharing the code with you. And also time to say goodbye. Thank you very much for joining today's session. It was a great pleasure to have you in the audience, to talk to you, Carol, and to you, Alex. All the best for you. Any last words, Alex?
No, thank you for the opportunity. Excuse me, my English is my first time to talk to other scouting. And thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Marty.
Yeah,
Nice to
great
meet
time
you,
that we
Carol.
had down
Nice to
here.
meet you.
Yep. Good to
on the
know more
participant.
people who are interested in solar energy, and let's get things moving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much. So, let's go solar. Join us at
Yay.
Glasgow Solar. You have the links, you have the knowledge where to get information, how you can join. So thank you very much, and stay tuned for the JOTA-JOTI. Actually, there will be 2 more activities about Glasgow Solar tomorrow and on Sunday at 2 p.m. Malaysia time. One is about Glasgow Solar in the Asia Pacific region, and the other one is about sundials and solar compass. So check it out on the program and stay tuned. Thank you very much. All the best. Have a nice weekend.